Hi, everybody. It is so nice to see all of your beautiful faces after this long summer. Can everybody hear me? Yay. Okay, so first of all, Jeremy sends his love. He was so looking forward to being here after our trip through Europe. We were so lucky to get to meet some truly beloved fellowship members along the trip, and Jeremy had so much he wanted to share, but he's just feeling horrible. So hopefully he'll be back soon on his feet. And so your trusty servant is here in his place to send his love. And I hope maybe we even have some newcomers, perhaps that we've collected along our incredible journey through Europe, just meeting wonderful lovers of Israel and lovers of Hashem. We've just been absolutely blessed, and it's wonderful to be back in the land. When we got back, it was incredible to see Jeremy get off the plane, and I've seen him get down and kiss the land when we've come back. This time he was hugging the land. He missed Israel so much so that security came. Indeed, true story, Ari. I don't think I mentioned that to you, that security had to come because they thought he had fainted from love for the land of Israel. All the kissing of the land, he might have picked up a virus somewhere along the way. But that is how much he loves the land. So, Ari, you made a great opening for me. Ari and I did not coordinate this, but you mentioned that as we're going into Elul, the fundamental parable that lights our way is this idea of the king being in the field. I just want to kind of unpack that a little bit. It's this Hasidic idea that was first coined by the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, the first Chabad rabbi. Um, and he said that when we go into Elul, the king is in the field. And that sounds strange, right? What does that mean, the king is in the field? Well, he says, usually the king is in the castle. And when you need something, you go to the king and you have to get dressed up and you bow down and you knock on the door and you come and you have to come to the king. But in Elul, the king goes down into the field. And I've been really kind of like thinking about what does that mean? And it struck me like, what is happening in the field? What is happening in the field? The field is the place where we're not dressed up. What do we look like when we're in the field? We're in the field, we're covered in the mud, we're sweating, we're in the sun, we're toiling in what can seem like Sisyphic, endless labor, season in and season out. Is anything even changing? Is our work even meaningful? Does the king even know what we're doing? He's up there in his castle. Is he even caring about us? And the idea of the month of Elul is that we get this glimmer of how much the king cares about us because he comes out of the castle and he says, I'm with you in the field. You're not alone in your toil, in your struggle, in your sweating in the sun and your feeling of just, where am I? Am I all alone? The king comes down and he says, I'm with you. And now what's interesting is that the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, he says, when the king comes down to the field, you don't ask for anything. Isn't that interesting? The month of Elul is not about praying for something. It's about being with Hashem. Hashem comes down to the field and you just feel him there with you. And you're working and you're in your toil and he's there with you in your toil. He doesn't mind getting his shoes dirty, as it were, so to speak, in this parable. He doesn't mind being down there in your struggle with you. And you're just I have this vision of like you're pushing the plow and you're not even asking for it. You're not saying, Hashem, could the weather be a little bit better? Could my field grow a little faster? You're just saying, here we are together. And then what happens in Tishrei? Comes Rosh Hashanah. We put on our fancy clothes and we elevate ourselves to a level that we're allowed to go to the castle. Meaning Hashem is so humble that he comes to be with us in Elul in the field. And in the month of Tishrei, we work on ourselves to become better. And then we're all dressed up. We go to the castle. We go to whatever house of prayer we're praying in. And we work on ourselves to get to the level that we can come and say, Hashem, could you please give me forgiveness? Could you please bless my family to have a good year? Could you please give me all the things that you give me? And that's really important too. But Elul has something about it that's just a different quality where we just are here with Hashem without asking for anything. And while we were in Europe, I heard an incredible story uh, of a couple. We met so many, people who were doing so much in Europe for Israel. And one of the wonderful people that we met along the way told us about a couple in his congregation. I hope he won't be upset for me sharing this story, but it was so magnificent. I won't give any of their personal details. But he said there was a couple that was childless. And, and after many years of childlessness and praying for children, they came to Israel for the first time. And they went to the Kotel, to the Western Wall, not to pray for children. I said, not to pray for children. They didn't pray for children. They went to the Kotel and they said, Hashem, our whole lives we've been praying for children because we thought that by raising a family, that was the way you wanted us to serve you. But we see that that's not your will for us. And we accept that. We accept it. And that's what they prayed at the Kotel. And you know what they asked for? They said, Hashem, could you just show us how to serve you without children? Can you show us how to be vessels to do good in the world, not through raising a family? Because if that's not what you want for us, we don't want to serve you any less. And he said 9 months to that day, they were blessed with a child and have had, thank God, many children since then. And on that day, every year, they come back to Israel to serve and to volunteer with, farmers and terror victims and to try to do good. And when I heard that story, it really, it kind of embarrassingly, because we were like in a very nice meeting with these lovely people, but it brought me to tears, because I thought that exactly encapsulates the idea, I think, of prayer in general, and certainly of prayer in the month of Elul, where the challenge is not just to believe that Hashem has a reason for what he's doing or to accept. We have such a higher challenge than that. The challenge is to actually say, like, thank you. Okay. Good. You must have a different plan for me. It's not the plan that I thought, but there's another plan. And I'm okay. Like, I'm not going to just say, like, okay, fine, I'm accepting it. There's a Talmudic passage that says, a person must bless God for the bad as he blesses God for the good. And I found that to be so incredible, like the bar that's set for us as believers. If the Talmud would have said, you must bless God even when bad things happen, you would say, like, okay, fine. The Talmud sets such a higher bar. It says you must bless God for the bad just as you bless him for the good, meaning with the same gusto. We have to muster. It's almost an impossible bar, but just living under that bar, knowing that that's what's asked of us, helps us get closer to that bar, even if we can never achieve it. And like, you have to be able to say, Hashem, thank you for the bad as much as thank you for the good, because I don't know why this is happening to me, but I want to know how I can turn it into an engine for me to be better. I remember there was one Rosh Hashanah a few years ago. I'm sure I've shared this in the past, but I remember I sat and I was just, talking. I was praying. It was like a break during the synagogue service. And I was praying to Hashem, and I said, Hashem, I'm afraid to say what I'm about to say, but I'm mustering all of my courage to say it. I said, if I go wrong, please correct me. And then I was scared just from having said it, because I know what corrections look like, and corrections are really, really hard. And I said, did I just ask for corrections? I said, no, Hashem, I'm putting it out there. I'm willing to be corrected. And I look back at that as a moment that I don't know where I got that courage, because it didn't come from inside me. It only comes from Hashem, and it was a moment of courage. And I think that I try to get back there, because I don't think I'm really there right now. I don't feel that courage in me right now, but because the corrections that we're experiencing in Israel are so painful. But I try to hold on to that moment. We have these like moments of clarity and moments of faith. I try to hold on to that moment and say, please bring me back to that moment where I lean in and I say, Hashem, I'm ready for whatever you send me. I'm ready to be corrected no matter how hard it is, because I know that will be an engine for me to get better. And most of all, I know you will be with me. I know you will be in the field with me, no matter how hard my toil is and how painful my toil is. I know you're going to be with me because you come down to the field to be with us where we are. And our prayer is just to have the strength to lovingly accept what Hashem gives us, plant that in the ground and let it grow into ever greater strength, goodness, relationship with Hashem, and just to plant seeds inside of ourselves to become who Hashem knows that we could be, and to eventually, please God, be willing to get be worthy, become people that can actually rise up and go to the palace and really be on the level that we can leave the field because we planted what we need to plant, we planted what we needed to plant, we toiled what we needed to toil, and now we can go to the palace and be with Hashem on the most elevated plane. So with that, I'm giving it back to Ari, and I wish you guys just the absolute most wonderful month of Elul, where you will truly, wherever you are, whatever field you're in, and if it's in Nebraska, Oklahoma, Germany, or Indonesia, wherever everyone are, wherever your field is, that you will feel Hashem coming down to the field to be with you. Bye, guys.